My name's Adrienne Dan, and my nickname is Puddy. Everybody knows me as Puddy, and I've had that nickname ever since I was very young. And I was born in Gympie. My parents were both living in the valley and have done all their married life. I've lived in the valley all my life, more or less. Worked in Brisbane for probably 3 years and then came back to the valley to live. Married in 1956 to Chubba Dan, another nickname. And and we've been always involved in community, sport, whatever. All those years we were married. Dad was working in the timber industry, and I think the valley at that stage was heavily involved in the timber industry, and that's where he worked, in sawmills most of his life. Mum's parents came from Brisbane to live at Upper Kandanga, and she followed them. She was only very young at the time, and they both grew up together and married in the valley. I have lots of memories about Amamoor School, actually. Lots of good friends have formed over those from school days. Unfortunately, a lot of them have passed on now, but the ones that are left, we're still very friendly. And yes, my school days were, I was probably one of the very lucky ones that had good teachers and played a lot of sport. They allowed us to play sport. We got up to lots of mischief, actually. I think we had a Ned Kelly gang at one stage, and I think I was Ned. I was the leader of the gang. And it was all girls involved, and we'd play up with it on the teachers and sort of have a day off school occasionally and spend it down round the creek and that sort of thing. And yeah, after school, always swimming in the creek every afternoon when school finished. We'd be swimming in the creek, and we'd be there until dark most times. And our parents never worried about us. We just came home when we were ready and that sort of thing. There was no worries about the kids being all together. I even played football with the boys, so yeah, mostly tennis, cricket as well. Dad played nearly every sport you can think of, yeah. Not so much my mum, she didn't play so much sport, she played tennis, but Dad played every sport, yeah. Well, since I've been married, I've been involved in bowls. Never thought I would take that game up, because they said to me when I was playing tennis, when are you going to jump the fence and come to bowls? And I said, you will never find me in that outfit. There's no way I'm going to play bowls. Anyway, I ended up playing bowls, and after quite a few years of just playing Kandanga competition and that sort of thing, I became a state selector for 6 years and Australian selector for 4 years. So that was 10 years of my life that I gave to bowls without playing it, just being selecting. Well, for the teams that go overseas and all that sort of thing, that play for Australia, well, the selectors are the ones that are responsible for those teams. And there was 4 of us. There was there was 6 of us. There was 3 lady selectors and 3 men selectors. And we travelled all over Australia to do that. Just for a short stage I did, and then I had a job offered to me in the post office at Amamoor, and I stayed there for probably 3 years, I think. And from there I went to Brisbane and worked down there for 3 years. Came back and got married, probably at a dance. In those days, that's where most people met their partners. Yeah. Well, there was nearly a dance every Saturday night, and it was usually a different place in the valley that we'd go. Like there was Imbo, Kandanga. Everybody would have their turn each Saturday night at a dance. We built a home in Kandanga. We had a carrying business and mail run, and we grew pineapples. We ran cattle and raised the children there, and the children went to Kandanga School. Probably one of the big ones was the swimming pool in Kandanga, and we had a swimming pool at our house at Kandanga, and this is before the pool was built, and all the children from Kandanga would come to our house to swim in our pool. So Chava said to me one day, I think we should build a pool in Kandanga, and that's how it all started. And so we were pretty much involved in that, very much. There was lots of festivals, pineapple festivals, things like that we were very involved in. They had big processions down the street from the school to the recreation ground. Big floats, lots of photos of all that, yeah. And they'd have races. We had a dunny race once. A lot of the young local girls, every float that there was, and I think there would have been probably up to 20 floats, and there was a princess on each float, and then they'd have the ball at night and they'd crown the princess of the... That's where they'd crown the princess on that night. Really missed the people that left once the dam was announced. A lot of people panicked and sold, and so the town was never the same again, and it still isn't today the same. Even though people have bought in homes again, they're not involved like the people that were there previously. Yeah, so that was a really sad thing. The school's gone back, like there was a lot of children going to school, but not many these days. I can remember the first day it was announced, and we couldn't believe it. To start with, we thought, this is not true. And then it set in that it was a real thing, and that's when people started to panic. And I was very involved in the information centre then, and that became the hub of the town, and people came there to let out their grievances for the damage the dam had on the town.